Good morning, everyone, and welcome to my podcast. My name is Lynette. Today I have a special guest speaker, Phillip Wilson, who's going to share his health journey with us, which also includes out-of-body experience. So I myself am excited to hear about that. But without any further ado, I'm going to introduce Phillip and let him tell you his story. Good morning, Phillip.
Hi, Lynette. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I have been involved in holistic health since 1971. I had an honors degree in mathematics, and like you, I had life-altering changes that I was not aware of that directed me from pursuing a career in mathematics to not really wanting to do math. It no longer uplifted me. And I got very much into inner travel, traveling inwardly and having realizations. If you saw the movie The Beautiful Mind,
Yes.
okay, he wanted one original thought, and he was a mathematician. And he learned to recognize these voices that were speaking to him and the pictures he was getting, and finally realized that was a different world. And then instead of going the drug route, which they tried to get him to do for a couple of years, he just finally realized that if he acknowledged them and saw where they were, uh, he could continue to exist and still be creative. But he lost all creativity when he was on the pharmaceutical drugs, and this was not workable for him. So when you have your whole way of looking at the world destroyed, life is actually you are at the beginning of life rather than at the end. The it's the poetry of Rumi points out that with every death there's a birth, there's a rebirth. And so that's just the process of life, and one starts seeing underlying principles. I know you said that um, they told you you had Lyme disease, or you finally figured it out. And
Right.
I'll just go out there and say, my belief, and again, I don't believe in belief. But right now, my understanding of Lyme disease is that it was man-made in a lab across from Lyme, Connecticut, and that it escaped from a lab or something like that. But there's a lot of man-made diseases by those who are not really ignorant; they're malevolent, and it's like a shock because most people don't believe people can be so cruel and nasty. Of course, you have Attila the Hun and many others who I know nothing of Attila the Hun, but um, they were not very nice people. And there's a spiritual principle. Whatever you picture and give passion to comes into your life. So when you wish ill upon others, that picture you're doing upon them is actually your reality you step into. And so there are a lot of very interesting principles of life, like what is life about? Where do we come from? All these kind of questions or answers. See, there's no such thing as a problem. There's only situations. But when the mind finds a situation perplexing it, we call it a problem. And the solution is on the other side of that coin. So we can go through life never seeing problems, only seeing situations that get resolved because we embrace them. Like PTSD is a form of, like anything that we don't embrace is a form of 1 to 100 on a level of PTSD. And massage therapists will say do you have an issue in your tissue, which means that every pain that you have in your body. I went to a workshop about 30, 40 years ago, and if you put your one finger on the pain area and another grounding point, like maybe the lower part of the spine. And eventually there'll be an electric current and there'll be elicited a picture. And that's a picture from the past that you didn't embrace. If you can embrace it now, the pain will go away. And that was the principle. So there's a anyway, I had the out of body experience, and all of a sudden I got connected to the inner sound and the inner light of creation of God or of the divine. Did not know that. All I knew is that as I said to a friend about a year later, I found the secret of life. All you have to do is feel. Well, coming from my perspective as a left brain thinker, for me, that was my truth. And she says, I don't know. I'm a dancer. I've been feeling all my life. I think I need to think more. And that was like when a light bulb went off, a light bulb that just hovered and has always hovered since. That it's the balance between thinking and feeling. In other words, if you have two unruly children and you can get them to play together, then you're free. So, your mind and your feelings, your emotions, if you can get them to be in harmony, then you become free. Now, so I got involved in the health food industry in 1971 after I had a Kundalini awakening. I met this yogi who showed me these exercises. I met him one evening. He asked me what was going on in Columbus. He was traveling through Columbus from California to Europe. Um, and then he was with Yogananda, Paramahansa Yogananda's place, Self-Realization Fellowship in the L area, Los Angeles area. He was from Venice, and he had a dream in which in a past life, and that's something, I really wasn't accepting of, and I wasn't rejecting it. It just was not part of my life. That he, in a past life, he was actually the teacher of the lady who was teaching there, who replaced Yogananda, and so he just realized that she couldn't give him the insights that he needed to know on his spiritual journey. So anyway, he shared with me some of the higher fifth initiation techniques, and it worked on me, and my whole body was like a couple hours worth of these exercises. My whole body was filled with light and energy, and it was great. I was ecstatic, but then I couldn't eat anything. I couldn't eat normal food without going comatose. And so to preserve this presence, I was meditating, doing yoga about 6 hours every morning and stretching. And then when I eat meat 3 days later, yeah, I was comatose, like my mind wouldn't even function. I had to meditate for 6, 7, 8 hours. And oh my God. So at any rate, not wanting to be too verbal about it as I go in and on in my soliloquy. Um, and I want to be able to stop and pause and let you ask questions so we can go in the direction. But anyway, I had to fast a lot. I had to learn fasting. I was already meditating because of the out of body experience. And so all of a sudden, another, like, my whole world has changed. And so I basically started eating, pretty much a vegetarian diet, pretty much um, dates, figs, and cashews as 80% of my diet for energy. And it was like really, really fun times. Every day was exciting. I'm not sure if you read the Celestine prophecy, but all this synchronicity was happening in my life. It's like magic, magic. All of a sudden, you meet one person and another person, and that's when you know that you're being guided. It's a journey, and life is way, way, way more than you ever thought it was, and you are way, way more than what you ever thought you were because I recognized that I was simply um, I have a mind and I have a body. I have feelings. I'm not any of those. I am. I've always existed. So anyway, let's pause so I can let you say something, and then I can say more.
Okay. Well, you said so many things that were interesting because I feel like, and I've shared that this is a spiritual journey as well. I feel like, first of all, my podcast, I believe is divine. I know it is divinely guided. What I say just comes out of my mouth when I'm finished. I don't even know what I really said, to be honest with you. And so many things that you've said I can relate to. And as far as like changing the diet, I would like to. I myself, and I'm sure a lot of listeners feel this way. I would like to eat better. I would like to improve my body, which I think will also help my mobility. But I'm not sure how to do that. And you talked about figs and dates. Are you talking about dried figs and dates? Are
Yes.
you talking?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And so that wouldn't be your meal, would it? I mean, would you have, well, like, what would you have for a dinner, for example?
Yeah, that was like, for example, if you're going to a foreign culture, well, what do you mean by dinner? I eat when I'm hungry.
Oh,
And I
okay.
just eat a little bit. I eat a little bit to sustain me. And I don't I go in cycles. I don't do figs and dates very often. Dates more so than figs, because it's pretty intense. But the body chemistry changes all the time. I used to give talks in the 1990s about, and even the late 1980s about the changing body chemistry. And when the it's like, when you graduate from high school and you die from high school and you become a college student and you become reborn, the rules change. And you got to learn the whole new rules all over again. And it's really hard to just say, okay, I don't know anything. What are the rules in this planet that I have to obey, or not obey, but I have to listen to so I can be free? See, the freedom is the overall, free of everything and anything, free of distractions, free of other people's ideas, free of even your old beliefs that no longer serve you.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me just say one thing. I remembered something that you hit on earlier that I wanted to talk about. When you mentioned, I never thought of it this way exactly. When you said something dies and then there's a rebirthing. And I know my last podcast was about there's more levels to this world than we know of. And it's hard to explain. I don't wish this health situations on anyone. However, it has done what you're talking about. Like so many of my friends, they talk about age and getting older, and I almost can't relate. I realize I'm getting older. I get that. But I'm also just starting because I've learned so much through what I'm going through. And I'm excited about looking at life and the world in this perspective that I never did before. So anyway, when you mentioned about something dying and something new starting, you hit the nail on the head for me.
Good. Well, again, I don't go by the rules of this society. Like, the idea of eating 3 meals in a day is just a concept of what good nutrition is supposed to be. I got into fasting. The most I've ever fasted is 14 days, and it wasn't a water fast. It was a lemonade diet fast. It's the Master Cleanser diet by Stanley Burroughs. It's basically half a lemon or 2 tablespoons of fresh lemon juice, 2 tablespoons of pure maple syrup, not maple flavored sugar syrup, but pure maple syrup, and a dash of cayenne pepper in hot water or cold water. And I lived on that for 14 days, the most. Some people have fasted 21, 30, 40 days on water. I can't do that, or that's not my path, but I have fasted one day, 3 day. I I was doing intermittent fasting for about 3 to 5 years and didn't even know that that was what it was called. But it's like a reset. Sometimes, the reason we eat is because our stomach is bored. It's not because we need nutrition.
Right.
It's like a habit. I mean, way back in the early days, I've been having, quote, difficulties lately, but there's never going to be a time when there are not problems, even though they don't exist. But we keep on creating them. There's always challenges is a better word for it. There's always going to be a challenge, no matter what kind of great spiritual teacher you are. If there wasn't a new learning experience, then life would be over. And that's something that, I remember reading that even the great spiritual masters are learning still, because we think, at least, in my early days in the early 70s, you said, oh, that guy is enlightened, therefore he knows everything. No, not true. You know everything when you're in the present moment. And when you're there and you can feel that inner guidance, when you can hear that inner sound, even if you can't hear it, but you're living in it. I've learned that the one of the worst things we can do to ourselves, and I was at the airport and I did it 20 times in 1 minute, and that's to judge. And if we could go a day without judging, we would be spiritually free. Oh my God. But then I found the antidote of judging. We all unconsciously know what it is. It's to observe. We turn the light switch of judging off, and we turn the light switch of observation on, and we simply observe, and therefore we're indifferent. We're in awe, like when we're looking at a sunset. Oh my gosh, that is so beautiful. We don't say, I think the orange should go where the purple is. And that would be a judgment. And the the dark lining and a judgment, in case people can't tell the difference between a judgment and an observation. They're like, it's like, oh my gosh, how can you not tell the difference between a horse and a prairie dog? But some people can't. It's a learning curve. And in every judgment, you have a dark lining, which is a complaint. And in an observation, you're just appreciating, you're in awe, you're just observing, uh, you're uh, you're just there. You are. You're in the moment. And in a judgment, there's a complaint. In other words, what we learn to do is we enjoy what is instead of complaining about what wasn't. And these are like secrets of how to become free. It says, "Judge ye not, lest ye be judged." When you judge something, you see something, and then you say bad. So you give it passion, and if you learn how to that the laws of creation, the laws of we're called creatures. Did you ever know why we're called creatures?
No.
We create.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we create. And sometimes what we create, little babies, they create. And they create little babies, and it creates. And so what makes us think that we were not created, and whoever created us, that it was created by something? And it's like, see, there is no time and space. Because if you're in the moment, there is no time and space. I have a definition of pain. The definition of pain is the awareness of time.
Oh, oh, interesting.
Have you ever worried?
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever hurried
Oh, yeah.
or even waited?
Yes.
All those are very painful activities
Yes.
that are involved with time. There's a book I read in 1972 called Talons of Time. The
Oh,
evil ones in the book were called the time makers.
huh.
So whenever you create time, you create hell for yourself. But it's okay. It's part of the process. You agreed. It's part of the learning curve. When you go to a class, when you sign up for a class, it's so you can learn. And a lot of times you have a lot of difficulty and you have to study hard and it's not all that pleasant, but it's an experience and you become wiser and more free. And see, the goal of freedom, the byproduct of being free is that you can feel loved and you can let love flow through you.
Okay, wow.
Okay, now when I was going through my hell, when I went through the trauma that caused the out of body experience in 1970, around February 1st, sometime around then, I was just I came out of that, and in May I was saying, I can't believe I am so. I mean, maybe I have an honors degree in mathematics, I've always had smarts, but damn, I am so dumb. I am not streetwise at all, and everyone else in the world knows what life is about, but me. And I was really pissed that I got missed. I mean, and I was determined to join the rest of the world and find out what life was about. And finally, when I had that a year and a half later, when I had that Kundalini awakening along my spine and my every cell of my body, I said, "Damn, hardly anyone knows what I know." And I thought everyone else knew what life was about, but they're all pretending, But that's not a bad thing, we don't know, so we have to just do the best we can, and we become wise. But a lot of times we become a little arrogant. And again, judging others is like the worst thing you can do. And I
I
and
agree.
I mean, and if you could go one day without judging, you would be totally enlightened. And I remember when I was starting to write this book in 2017, and then about a year later, I saw that Gabrielle Bernstein was commissioned to write a book called Judgment Detox. I said, "Oh my gosh, that's what I'm writing about." But the book was totally different. But when we were talking about when I was talking about the beautiful mind, he wanted one original thought. Well, see, that's when you can go outside of the matrix and connect and be in this space outside of the mind and be awakened to the presence of God, divine love, divine inspiration, divine guidance. And in the final analysis, it's all you have is the absolute reliance on your inner guidance, you and not you. You are the wisdom of that you are giving you. You are that, and yet you are not that. This is the duality of this world. You are God and you are not God. But you are a piece of shattered mirror, and God is the mirror. And you are a piece of shattered mirror. I am a piece of shattered mirror, and or we're drops in the same ocean. We're drops of water. It's like when in India they say, and the yogis say, I honor the light within you and I recognize it as myself. They say namaste. In America, they say, "Have a nice day." It rhymes with namaste. But
Oh,
basically,
I always wondered what that meant.
yeah, that's what it means. And it's basically, I am you, you are me. And actually, since there is no time and space, okay, because of my mathematics background, there is no time and space. Okay, so here I am, and there you are. Well, then you don't exist, or you're a projection of me, or you are me. It doesn't matter. We use language in a way where language makes no sense in the worlds of time and space. In the other worlds, we have telepathy. And, I've had thousands of out of body experiences. It's actually an in body experience. Most people aren't in their bodies and they're not connected. But when you get totally into your body, then you pop out on the other side and you're in your body and outside of your body at the same time. A good example of that is the book Steppenwolf by Hermann Hesse, where the jazz singer gets this aloof uh, intellectual man. He calls himself the Steppenwolf. To the price of admission in this world is your mind. You have to lose your mind in order to use your mind. And when you say lose your mind, it means you have to give up and let go of everything you ever thought you knew, because none of it's true.
Wow.
Anyway,
Wow.
we want to talk about the sauna. We want to talk about Lyme disease. There's so much that we can talk about and share and help people along their path to get rid of their pain and become more free.
But first, I want to ask you a couple questions.
Sure.
Well, they thought I had Lyme disease and they thought I had MS. Now I'm not sure where I stand. But aside from that, you mentioned, let me see if I'm pronouncing this correctly. Kundalini, is that correct?
Yeah, it's Kundalini.
Okay.
It's the spinal energy that
Oh,
can
okay.
release.
That's what I was going to ask is what
Yeah.
is that? Okay.
Yeah, at the base of the spine, they say there's a serpent, um, pictorially, but basically there's an energy that can be released. And according, I mean, I had a different kind of then. I had to read the book by Gopi Krishna called Kundalini Awakening way back in 1971 to figure out what in the world was going on. See, again, you had a situation, what the hell is going on with my body? And the medical establishment, thinking they know, says this and this and this and that. And there was no one I could talk to hardly, but I found people. You're led and guided because again, one of my other premises that which created us, let's call it God, is a loving God. That's my premise. I don't care if it's true or not, but it's going to be true for me, and I accept that. And therefore, punishment is not it is not part of the plan. The plan is rehabilitation. We all are parts of it, going off having experiences, being fingers and fingers in we are God's fingers, and God has experienced it itself through us. It needs us as much as we need it. And those are some of the basic premises that I have accepted, because in the field of mathematics and the foundations of mathematics, which I have studied, um, and it's like it's like I remember having an experience where it was a chasm of emptiness. In other words, it's all created out of nothingness, and we have created a world, and we live in it, and it's all based on, like in geometry, we have five axioms. Like the fifth one and the most questionable one is the fact that we have parallel lines don't meet. And now in the flat world, that's true. But in the world of the global, we think of the world as a sphere. A parallel line could be a line from the North Pole through Chicago to the South Pole. And another parallel line would be from the North Pole through New York to the South Pole. And those parallel lines actually meet in two places. So we have and that's just, in other words, our worlds are created out of we just, I mean, it's like, oh my gosh, there's it goes on and on. There's land, there's cities, there's people, there's animals, there's plants, there's minerals, there's rocks. I mean, what a crazy world we live in, because um, everything just is. The world is already created, and it's like our playground, and but the goal is to discover ourselves as soul, to discover ourselves as a unit of awareness, the fact that we've always existed, we can't not exist, and that would be the goal. My goal, I mean, I can say that's the goal, but you have to decide what you want in your life, and regardless of what I tell you the world is like, it's your decision to decide through your experiences. It's your decision to believe or not believe your own experiences. So if your
Correct.
body isn't working the way it's supposed to be, or the way it used to, what the hell do you do? How do you get it to work? How do you get it to function? We got people with autism in this world whose bodies will not function. They're stuck. They're locked inside their body, and I have been promoting. Well, first I've been promoting the relaxed sauna and far infrared sauna education for the last 23 years. I go to autism conferences. I go to cancer conferences. I go to Lyme disease conferences. I go to hundreds of conferences for functional medicine doctors, alternative medicine doctors, massage therapists, chiropractors, nutritional counselors, psychology and psychiatry. And I even go to psychedelic conferences. I go to iridology conferences. I go to reflexology. I mean, you name it, I've been there. Anything that's alternative, I've been to. I even went to a near-death experience conference a couple of weeks ago. I go to chiropractor, nutrition, and and a lot of these people are true healers. They have, I mean, they have abilities that I'm not aware of. I mean, that I don't have access to right now because I've chosen you can only do only so many things at one time. Actually, you can only do one thing at one time, but you can multitask and do many things at one time. So that seems to be a contradiction, but it's not really because they call them paradoxes when it seems to be a contradiction, but in reality, uh, the, the there's no limit to what you can do, and you just learn to love yourself. You learn to
Okay.
love every picture you've ever had of yourself. If there's one that you don't like, I say to you, go look at it and love that person, which is you. And the same with anyone else. If there's something you don't like, go beyond and love the essence of what that person is, because that essence of that person is you, and you have no choice, or the choice is obvious. You always have a choice. The choice is obvious that if you want freedom, then you simply have to love everyone, but no one tells you what to do, and you want to go beyond what you think something means, and go beyond and beyond and beyond. And there is no beginning and there is no ending. And that's like, what do you mean there's no beginning or no ending? There's plateaus. You go through a vortex, you hang on to the walls, and then finally you have no choice, or the choice is obvious, like you let go. And when you let go, you go through the vortex, go through that little uh, pinhole, through the needle hole, and there you are in another world. You can't die. When and there you are. And then, oh my gosh, it's beautiful and it's wonderful. And now again, the process begins, and it's like, well, that sounds like hell. No, that's what life's about. All children's stories in the past, many of them start with the adventures of Winnie the Pooh, the adventures of Sherlock Holmes, the adventures of Aladdin, the adventures of Robin Hood, the adventures of Alice in Wonderland, and I like to throw in the adventures of Ozzie and Harriet.
Wow, that's very interesting. And also backing up to when you said living in the present moment, it's I know that that puts you right where you need to be. And it's easier said than done, but that's something I strive for. And I agree 100% with you about judging. And we're all guilty of it, including myself, but I am aware that we're not to judge people, situations, whatever.
Okay,
So,
now you brought up something very, very interesting. Do you know what happens when you feel guilty about something?
no, I can only imagine.
Yes. You sentence yourself to doing it again.
Oh, till you learn. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, until you do it with complete joy. Because every when you feel guilty, I mean, like if you watch The Secret, how do you manifest something? You put your attention on a thought, you give it passion, and the secret, the real secret is you have to let go and be willing to not have it. Okay, but when we feel guilty, we say, "Oh, bad." We're looking at a picture of what we just did, said bad. And then we immediately let go, which means we don't want it. We're not trying to pull it toward us. So obviously, it comes back into our life, and we get to experience
Right,
it again
right.
until we do it with joy.
Until we learn, yeah.
Yeah, and it's basically when we feel guilty, it's called judging yourself. So it's like, we sometimes we want to learn not to use words like try, because when we try, here, I'm going to try to pick up this piece of paper. It means I'm not going to pick it up because it's like a friend of mine said many, many years ago, "Oh, I'm going to try to go to that meeting." And he said, how come you're not planning on intending to go? See, try means if everything else in my life goes to hell, to something in a handbasket or whatever, then I'll show up. That's what try means.
Yeah, yeah. That's a good point, yes.
But the feeling guilty is like, oh, come on, it's like, and regret is another word. See, in the Conversations with God book, it says you can never get what you want. And that seems like a paradox, but see, it's because if you want something, usually you're picturing yourself not having it, trying to get it.
Interesting.
So what you do is you become grateful for having what you already don't have, what you want.
Oh, in other words, you thank God basically for
Yes,
already having it.
yes.
Okay.
It's like the wish fulfilled. You
Okay.
like, instead of seeing the puppy in a cage in a pet store, you see you feel the puppy kissing you as you're holding it in your arms.
Right, right.
So that's what you picture and give passion to comes into your life.
Okay.
So,
So
yeah.
excuse me, it's all about learning and tweaking your thoughts until they become hopefully a lifestyle until it becomes you.
Yeah, and again, it deals with the merging of feeling and thinking. It's like thinking without feeling brings about woe. Can't think of Hamlet, consternation and thought, and feeling without thinking brings grief. You don't have the structure. When you're grieving, it's like you don't have the overall picture. You don't know who you are. There is no time and space. Everything is just an experience. See, it's somewhere in the Bible it says God is not mocked. What the hell does that mean? Well, mocked is 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 uh is like a play. See, and I say that this drama of Earth is a lot of fun, maybe, but the cast party is a lot more fun. So like, thou shalt have no graven images before me. Well, a graven image is like a mock-up, or it's a concept in the mental plane. See, I saw the Ten Commandments when I was a little kid, so I thought a graven image was a golden calf. Well, in the physical plane, that could be a graven image, but a graven image is in the mental plane would be a concept. So your concept of God interferes with your experiencing the reality of creation of what God is.
Okay.
Now, John Lennon, one of my heroes, I have many, many heroes, he said, God is a concept in which we measure our pain. Well, that's not God. God is not a concept. However, whether it's true or not, I'm uplifted by that statement. See, so when I say something, it's not whether it's true or false, because everything's a half lie, everything's a half truth, but it's how it's true for you, which means how does it inspire you? Does it give you a greater value of yourself? And that's the reality. See, I don't believe in beliefs. There's nothing that I believe, and yet at the same time, there's nothing I'm not willing to believe. And the signature of a belief is seen in the spelling of the word. Belief is spelled Belief. So every belief is a lie. I want to know something. I don't want to believe it. Belief is hell. I met this guy, uh, I've experienced the reality of who I am. I mean, you never really, really do, but you do, but I've certainly experienced myself as always existing, can't not exist. And when people sort of believe there's a God, but they've never experienced it, that's painful. I met someone the other day, and there is like they were in anguish and angst because it's there, it's elusive, but you can't grasp it. And again, it's you just have to get into the present moment and trust. See, what does it say on the back of a dollar bill? It says trust in God. It doesn't say believe in God. It says trust in God. It doesn't say hope in God. It says trust in God. Hope is good for little kids maybe, but it can turn into its negative. When I was hoping that my ex-girlfriend would have a change or a turn and come back and give up her new boyfriend and come back to me. When she got engaged, I gave up hope. God, I was so fucking free. So it's like, again, it's like the Rolling Stones. If you try, you can't always get what you want, but if you try, sometimes you get what you need. And
Correct.
again, see, control and surrender are the same thing. And the yogis call it breath control. I call it breath surrender. So, there's a couple ways of resetting. And so when I can't get into the present moment, I push my tummy out and I refuse to breathe
Wow.
until it starts breathing me. And then I catch that rhythm. I was meditating 1997, trying to find a name for my new company, or finding finding a new name for my old company. And basically, I was meditating, and then and when I meditate, I just leave, and then all of a sudden I come back 20, 30 minutes later, feeling damn good, but not knowing where in the world I was, but feeling good. And so I came back, and there I was in my room, but not in my room, but it was like, and I was in like an ethereal world, and then I was watching the word transformation slowly go back into the heart of creation through a vortex and dissipating, because I was trying to find a name for my company with the word transformation in it. And then all of a sudden I'm back in my body, and then I'm looking through the third eye, and I mean, I'm looking at this beautiful picture of a beautiful lake, and inside the lake is a mount a volcano like thing, and it's got mud gray brown um, coils going all the way around to the top. And then all of a sudden I'm just looking at it, just enjoying it. observing, and then out comes a little lottery ball with the word momentum on it. And I hear the word momentum. I said, oh, what a mundane word. I don't want to call my company Momentum. And then as soon as I thought that, then all of a sudden I heard the words taking advantage of the moment. I said, damn, momentum comes to the word moment. I mean, that's great. And I accept it. Okay, my company is Momentum. Okay, fine.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And that's my health food store. It's called Momentum 98 Natural Health Foods or Health Food Store. That's in Columbus, Ohio. I've had it for 45 years. But meanwhile, um, then I'm in visualizing my stationery, and then all of a sudden I say something's missing, and then as soon as I said that to myself, to it, that which was guiding me, they said, propelling yourself into greatness. I said, wow. And then the third eye totally became black. And there I was back in my body. So I wrote that thing down. It took me 10 days to find out where I wrote it. I wrote it on a database because I couldn't remember it for the life of me. But see, when you take advantage of the moment, that's the secret. Because taking advantage of the moment means you're living in the moment and you're listening. You're
Oh,
vigilant.
right.
Think of yourself being in a jungle. You have your antenna up, and you have to be aware of the dangers and the beauty around you at the same time. The all and the all. And then so when you're listening and you're living in the moment and the new wave comes by, because you're listening, you get in front of that wave and it propels you into greatness, and then you're in a whole new world and you're freer than ever. And that goes on and on and on and on and on and on. It never stops. That sounds like hell, but it's freedom because
Wow.
because there is no beginning and there is no ending. So after about 10, 15 years, I realized there's a beautiful book called Practicing the Presence of God by Brother Lawrence, about 80 pages. Well, momentum, taking advantage of the moment, propelling yourself into greatness, explains what the book's about.
Oh, okay.
Okay, it's a reset. When you push your tummy out and refuse to breathe, it's a reset. When you fast for a half a day or a day, it's a reset. And then when you start eating, you can start eating foods that are good for you. And again, divine guidance. Like the lemon diet is a great reset for me. I was one of the original biohackers in 1971. I was trying to find, it's like a friend of mine said, she she eats to live. She doesn't live to eat. I need to listen to that now.
Yeah, that's a tough one for everybody, I would say.
But again, it's like it's all about getting a reset. It's like any person who has any kind of addiction, you want to reset. You want to get all that everything out of the way, clean off your desk and start fresh. When I'm in the midst of a creative episode, like of solving a math problem in the past, it doesn't matter how messy my desk or world is. I'm all there in the moment doing and when it's finished, what a mess. And then for me to start a new project, I just clean it all up so I can clean the slate and start afresh.
Right, right. Very interesting. Well, I know we're almost out of time, I think. And I want to hear about um, your infrared
Yeah,
saunas.
we got another 20 minutes, I
Oh,
think.
we do. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we have
Okay. I
another
wasn't
20
sure.
minutes because I'm in the business world, and that's we start a business in order to give service, and then when we give service, we make a profit. And then with that profit, now we can give more service. So the goal is to give service, and the byproduct is profit. And the business school has it backwards. Everything in this world is backwards. It's like Bizarro World and Superman. We call death insurance life insurance. We call health insurance. We call sickness insurance health insurance. And there are many, many instances of this. Okay. But anyway, a person has Lyme disease or their body doesn't function well. There's even something called Morgellons disease. People have autism. People are vaccine injured. What the hell is going on with these bodies? Okay. Now, regardless of how malevolent the the synthetic or the whatever is happening in your body, how it was caused, it's an experience you signed up for. Sadly, and we may not be aware of it, but I mean, I've read books. The best thing that ever happened to me, this person said, was getting cancer, because your lifestyle that was leading into a dead end and a dead end of unfulfillment. Now all of a sudden you have a reason to live. You have a raison d'être, as they say in French. That means a reason to live. And when people awaken, why did it take so long? Well, it takes as long as it takes. It doesn't matter. Here you are now. When my ex-wife and I, were talking about problems with the business, I said, okay, let's just pretend we just bought the business. Let's find a solution. You don't want to blame. Okay, I'm gonna, you know that Bill Wilson is one of the founders of Alcohol Anonymous. There's two of them. One was Bill Wilson. Okay, I'm Phil Wilson. I'm going to start Blamers Anonymous. I used to be a blamer.
Oh
and
gosh.
and if you're a blamer, you become the victim. And once you become the victim, you're a dead duck in the water. You are a survivor. You are a creator. You create. So we again, if you see a problem, it's like we want to see the other side of the coin. We want to see the solution. So, here we are. It's like a math problem. My body, it doesn't function well. What the fuck happened? And again, sometimes you have to use words to shock and wake yourself and others up. Oh, that's a bad word. Yes, it's blasphemous. Yeah. Where in the Bible does that say it's a bad word? See, sometimes you have to bastardize the English language in order to communicate the point. The goal is communication. And so you do whatever it takes. In astrology, they call it Uranus. In American Indian folklore, they call it the coyote or the trickster. We have to trick our mind, to shut the fuck up. It's like life is a bowl of cherries, and sometimes you have to deal with the pits.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
So here, okay, I go to all these autism conferences, and there's the guy with autism. Actually, he's extremely intelligent. He's just locked in this body that the wiring's off. And so they found a way. They type, and they can type. And he even told his parents, the relaxed sauna is great. Get it. And it turns out that the soul that's in this body that's autistic is an extremely wise soul, and almost like a spiritual teacher. Like, in a sense, we all, we are you and I, we are spiritual teachers. We're on the path. It's not a path to, it's a path of. We are already there. So we're remembering and getting rid of the sculpture that Michelangelo did. It was already there. He just had to get all the excess off. So we have to get rid of our beliefs that don't serve us. The name of my forthcoming book is Pictures of the Mind, Freeing Yourself from Beliefs That No Longer Serve You. So, and the website, it's only partly done. It's called picturesofthemind.com. Not out yet. I plan on getting it out soon. I'm having problems with me and God. We're trying to get it out. But anyway, again, that word problem. Okay, so people with Lyme disease. Okay, now the relaxed sauna is an incredible reset. Okay, now there are far infrared saunas out there. The relaxed sauna is considered a far infrared sauna. Okay, but it's way more than that. And far infrared saunas are way more than Finnish saunas. Okay, far infrared sauna is not technically a sauna any more than a prairie dog is a dog. A sea lion is not a lion. And if you go to Australia and you call a koala bear a bear, you're likely to get lynched. Okay, so a far infrared sauna works with healing, loving light. Okay, now most of your far infrared or full spectrum saunas are only 8%, 20%, 50% of the specific frequency of light that is the loving light that's the same energy as human energy. You have a certain frequency. Pythagoras was the father of modern mathematics. He was also a great spiritual teacher. He had a mystery school. He had many students. He said everything vibrates. Okay, so this cup vibrates. It may be minerals vibrate, plants vibrate. Everything in creation vibrates. You know, if the scientists would go on and they say they're actually a particle in a sense is a wavicle. A wave actually it gets transformed into being a wavicle, which gets transformed in being a particle. So this world, when we go in and under, it's like it never ends. It never ends. It can't end. There is no smallest part. We just start there because we can't. You know, they said there's an atom, and then the atom's got electrons, and the electrons, and there's protons, and then there's neutrons, and it gets smaller and smaller. I don't even know that I've got a degree in math. I don't know much about physics and electronics, and here I am selling an electrical appliance that's this like you get into the relaxed sauna and it's the closest I've seen in this world of divine love coming out of electricity. So if you can imagine divine love healing you, well, that's how I see the relaxed sauna. Okay, the frequency that's now the relaxed sauna, we sent the relaxed sauna and two other portable saunas. We sent it to Harvard MIT Science and Technology Lab. They didn't do a study, but they gave us a report. They said the frequency that's coming out of the relaxed sauna is all between 7 and 14 microns. It's a frequency. The width of a human hair is 50 microns.
Wow.
So the wavelength that's coming out of the relaxed sauna is about one fifth the diameter of the human hair.
Wow.
And this wavelength is about 12 times the wavelength of red. So they're small, but you can conceive of it. It's not like one billionth. I don't know what in the world that looks like. You know, I can't even comprehend a trillion. You know, but this is within the range of understanding. So the wavelength of humans is 9.4 microns. All mammals, birds, and humans is 9.4 microns. The wavelength of water is 8 microns. So the whole purpose of a far infrared sauna is to send off a frequency of light that's the same wavelength as water.
Oh.
It's all about the water. Because our bodies, according to Dr. Gerald Pollack, who wrote the book Fourth Phase of Water, he says it's not 70%, maybe 70% of our body is water, but 99 of our cells, but 99% of our body is water. So the whole purpose of the far infrared sauna is to vibrate those water molecules. If all the water molecules are vibrating, it's like 100 people in a small room dancing. the room's going to get hot. Our body's going to get hot. Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine, he was an alternative medicine doctor. He didn't believe in drugs. He used herbs, he used sound, he used light. He said, if I can create a fever in your body, I will be able to cure any disease. Should be at the in addition to above all do no harm. That should be on engraved in the face of every medical school building. If I can create a fever in you, I can cure you of any disease. So what the relaxed sauna does, it vibrates those water molecules. According to one report on reddit.com in 2017, the relaxed sauna can increase your body temperature 2.9 degrees in 25 minutes.
Oh.
The other two saunas that he tried, the Amazon sauna, is a half a degree only. There's something called heart rate variability, the heart's ability to handle anything that comes at it. It's sort of like the physical world, same thing as being in the present moment with the divine. You can handle anything that comes at you. So the physical version of that is heart rate variability. The relaxed sauna increased heart rate variability, according to this one study on independent study, significantly more than the research on far infrared saunas say they can do. We had a chiropractor who had an Apple Watch that measured the heart rate variability of 50. He got in a relaxed sauna. It went down to 30. When it came out, it went up to 136. And that's, for those in the know, amazing. Okay. And so that's going to put you in a healthy state. Now, if you study what happens when you have a fever, there's thousands of research articles on research studies on PubMed.com where the doctors go. That's what you're going to. And when you get into the relaxed sauna, these same things happen. I've put 150,000 people, maybe 200,000 people in the relaxed sauna in the last 23 years, doing about 500 professional and consumer expos. I would say without a moment of hesitation that when you go into the relaxed sauna, the relaxed sauna is different than any other infrared sauna. They're all great. All saunas are wonderful. They're going to help you. But the relaxed sauna is special. It took 10 years for the relaxed sauna company to find a way to give you, using semiconductor chips. It's a computer technology they use in the fabs of those new car keys. And that's why we had a problem during COVID getting cars, because we couldn't get the semiconductor chips. So we're the only sauna that uses the relaxed sauna that uses semiconductor chips. These chips take electricity, filter out, and give you that exact frequency your body needs, which is 7 to 14 microns. Dr. Yamaguchi has done a lot of research in Japan. He says only that frequency will vibrate the water molecules. When you vibrate the water molecules, it'll weaken the ionic bonds between the hydrogen and the oxygen. I was talking to a doctor. He knew that when you vibrate the water molecules, the angle goes from 32% between the hydrogen and the oxygen, the two H's and the O. The O is the vertex, the two hydrogens are the angle. That angle goes from 32% to 27%. The size of the water molecule becomes smaller. The blood cells then become smaller. Circulation increases greatly, and that can get rid of inflammation and pain and lower blood pressure. You can oxygenate the body. That kills pathogens, anaerobic bacteria. And then you activate the parasympathetic nervous system. That's what we've been talking about all for the last hour. That gets you into the present moment where there is no time. You activate no flight or fight, no nervous caffeine energy, but pure being in the moment, activating the parasympathetic, and that activates the mitochondria. So you get an increase of the spiritual energy, of the energy that gives your body the power to move and to bend. That's what Dr. Gerald Pollack says the sunlight far infrared ray does to plants. It gives them the power to move and to bend. It gives
Wow.
us power to move and to bend. If you have Lyme disease, if you have autism, if you have chronic pain, if you have neuropathy, if you have nerve damage, it doesn't matter what science says you can do or not do. The secret, according to Hippocrates, find me a way to create fever and I will cure any disease. We have 1,000 video testimonies on YouTube. Like as I was saying, the I guarantee when I'm at conferences, not only you feel like your grandma is giving you the most wonderful, loving hug in the world in about 2-3 minutes, the you can feel the warmth in the sauna and the energy in your cells in about 30 seconds. It
Right.
starts vibrating all your water molecules. And in 5 to 7 minutes, with your clothes on, without sweating, you will get rid of 50% to 100% of your pain and stress every time. You will come out feeling, oh my gosh, I feel good. It's like it puts a cup of coffee to shame in the morning. Rebecca Harder wrote a book called Gastro Girl. She was a colon hydrotherapist. She says, healing the world one colon at a time. She said, a far infrared sauna is an absolute necessity if you want to be fabulous in the 21st century. There are so many toxins in this toxin world from the land, from the air, from the water, from the fire, the electricity, the 5G, and all the craziness going on to this world. And it all has a purpose. You don't need to know what it is. The reason comes after the fact. Get in the moment, do what you need to do, and later on, all your questions will be answered if you need to have them answered. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. So getting the relaxed sauna in your home or in your doctor's office or in your Major League Baseball team or in your holistic clinic or, it's just something that it's a reset. It's a reset. It gets you into the moment. You feel warm, you feel loved, you feel like you're basking in divine love. You're on a beach in Hawaii, you're in the presence of a Qigong master or a great guru or being who's giving you unconditional love, like i.e., like a grandma giving you a wonderful hug.
Well, how big is it? I mean, is it something that
It's right behind
you
me.
do?
You see
Oh,
that?
that's it?
Yeah,
Yes, I
it's a,
see it.
it's a portable
Oh,
sauna.
interesting.
It fits in a,
Oh,
it fits in a 28-inch Samsonite Omni suitcase. The whole thing, it comes in a box about that size. It takes 3 minutes to set up, 2 minutes to tear down. You put 2 towels. If you're going to sweat, 20-minute sweat. 20 minutes it takes to get the most profuse sweat in the world. Most saunas take 10, 20, 30, 40 minutes to preheat. This takes 10, 30, 40 seconds. Okay. Well, you
wow.
have pain in the middle of the day. You have this one lady had a migraine headache, pain 8. She got in. 4 minutes, it was down to a 4. She was too hot. We opened it up. She sat there, we talked. 4 minutes later, no pain at all. Takes a day or two to get rid of her migraines.
Wow. That's amazing. And I can't tell from here, is there a zipper on it? Is
Yeah,
that
there's
a
a
zipper?
zipper. There's an inside zipper and an outside zipper. So when I'm at the conferences, I tell people, don't worry, this is not a Hansel and Gretel operation. We're not making gingerbread cookies if you get too
Yeah.
hot. See, we have a sophisticated temperature control device because the relaxed sauna gets hot. But we have a sophisticated temperature control device built into it. It's called a zipper. You just unzip the zipper. The semiconductor chips control the heat. There's a timer on it, and the timer is a timer. We don't set the heat. It's controlled by the wisdom of the semiconductor chip that takes the electricity and constantly gives you the energy. Most saunas, when the heat turns off, the emitter turns off. The relaxed sauna is in a world of its own. It is by far the most therapeutic sauna out there. We have a doctor working with us who's been studying far infrared for 15 years. He's been a medical doctor for over 40 years. He quit practicing many years ago after a couple of years. He didn't like dealing with sick people, but he has worked with a professional basketball, football, and college athletes on setting a program for nutritional management. So he's very wise. He does a lot of research for us, and there's thousands of articles and studies on far infrared energy. There's other technologies. There's other technologies out there. And there's red light, there's near infrared lasers, there's PEMF, there's microcurrent technology, and then you have which are all, and then you have ozone and hyperbaric oxygen, which we go to all their conferences. There's cryotherapy, the cold plunges, the contrast therapy. The relaxed sauna fits in with all of them and make them all better. But the only like Tesla said, the medicine of the future is in vibration, in frequency, and in light and sound. Sound you can't hear, light you can't see. Edison said the same thing. Jacob Lieberman, an optometrist of the last 40, 50 years, said the same thing. So this is the best. I say if you have a particular energy machine, you can be Batman. We'll be Robin. We'll make you work better. The relaxed sauna is the essence. It's the only one that vibrates the water molecules. It's all about the water in this world. Everything we need clean water. The water is polluted, the air is polluted, the land is polluted, and the energies, the invisible energies, the electricity, the fire is all polluted. What do? The far infrared saunas are the regular saunas in the 60s. They cleansed you now. Finished. There's a 20-year study on how Finnish saunas, even for pregnant women, are healthy. People who do saunas 4 to 7 times a week live way longer than people who do it only once in Finland. I mean, if you study saunas, then you study far infrared saunas, then you study the relaxed sauna. Oh my God, there is now the relaxed sauna is not a panacea, but the relaxed sauna sometimes it is. Sometimes you've tried 2 or 3 things, and the missing piece is the relaxed sauna. Maybe, and then when you start off with the relaxed sauna as your first piece, maybe it'll do a lot, but maybe you may need to do more. And that's what life is about. But it belongs in every home. It's cheap. It's worth 20,000. You know how MasterCard is priceless? The relaxed sauna is worth 20 times. I mean, it's worth 20 times it's worth at least $20,000, and you can buy an $8,000, $10,000 wooden sauna that looks beautiful, but it can't do what the relaxed sauna does in terms of the correct frequency. The active ingredient in turmeric is called curcumin. The active ingredient in the far infrared saunas is the 7 to 14 far infrared light, because it's the same frequency as you. It's absorbed into the body because you can't see it as different. It's the same frequency as you. It penetrates very deeply. Near infrared energy, people talking about, near infrared is the greatest. Yeah, it penetrates 1/16 of an inch. A near infrared laser can penetrate, but that's a laser, not a field. And so when the field of energy of near infrared comes at you, you see it's not you, so you resist it. It penetrates 1/16 of an inch. It's good for the skin. Mid-infrared is good for the body, for the muscles. The far infrared is good for the skin, the muscles, the bones, the core, and penetrates it very, very deeply. Okay, and does all the things that mid and near do. So, there's a book all about far infrared saunas by Dr. Sherry Rogers, came out in 2001, spawned the industry. Okay, you can experience the relaxed sauna. then you experience the difference. You feel the momentum. It's different than any other sauna. People think, oh, I have a sauna. All saunas are alike. No, this detox specialist said she gave away her $1,400 portable sauna. She gave away her higher dose blanket. They didn't detox her as well, and they didn't leave her feeling revitalized. They left her drained. So you can
Oh,
go and like if you live 5 miles from a grocery store and I give you a vehicle, a bicycle, you are so excited. You're telling everyone how incredible the bicycle is.
right, right.
When I say come with me in my Mercedes, you say, no, I already have a vehicle. And I finally one day you do, and oh my gosh, what a comfortable ride. And you can even take all the groceries back with you in one trip. So it's again, others all saunas are good. Okay, but the relaxed sauna is right now the apex of the technologies. Maybe later on other technologies will come, but it's you can go to relaxsaunas.com. Relaxed saunas.
Relaxsaunas.com. Okay. Okay,
And
and they get more information on that and ask
right.
questions.
And for those who are listening to this, okay, let's give them $100 discount code. Okay, and we'll just call it, since we're talking about time, let's call it time 25. Okay.
Okay.
So if they go to the Relax Sauna page and order Relax Sauna, the black sauna is $2,300. The silver sauna, which is the same thing, it just doesn't have a beautiful logo on it, and it's half as thick as the black sauna tent, but it's the original Relax Sauna. It sells for $1,700. Take $100 off, then it's $1,600, and then there's shipping in the United States or Canada or wherever. Shipping in the United States is $50. So for $1,650, no tax. The relaxed sauna will be in your home in 2 to 3 days. And so they
Wow.
use the
Okay.
code time25
Time
and
25.
25.
Okay. And is that
It,
small letters or
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And it's relaxsaunas with an S.com. It's plural, relaxsaunas.com. Lots of information.
relaxedsaunas.com?
Yeah, .com.
Okay.
And if they go to YouTube and they put in relaxed sauna testimonials, and then they come to all these, and then they go to the Relax Sauna page and click on that. There's about 1,000 videos, about 900 video testimonies of people saying their experiences in the Relax Sauna from 3 years ago, 2 years ago, coming back saying, hey, I love it. Can you do an interview? Yeah. Or people just experiencing it for the first time, like this guy who had sciatica pain for 6.5 weeks, pain 7, 8. He actually let himself sweat. He did it for 15 minutes and he had no pain. I mean,
Wow.
this is the standard. When you listen to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, comparing to, I've never been in a sauna that felt this good. This is different. I want it. Okay. It's by far the most therapeutic of all the saunas. And again, it's your experience, my experience. If you can, for those who are really sensitive, who can feel the energy, it's different. It's definitely more loving. No other sauna have I heard people say, gee, I felt I was hugged by my loving grandma. Usually it's a little harsh, which is the near infrared, and soft, which is the loving light. The relaxed sauna gives you 100% loving light, and that's why it feels better. That's why it works better. That's why it's more therapeutic. That's why it gets better results. All saunas are going to get you some kind of results, but the relaxed sauna is right now the most unique, the most therapeutic, the most beautiful of all the saunas.
Okay. So I want to repeat. It's relax, RELAX, saunas, SAUNAS.com, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Now we got 20 of those testimonies. 20 of those are people who have Lyme disease who say, I don't have any symptoms anymore, or my symptoms are 90, 95, 98% gone, or my life is, I can function now. There are 5 cancer clinics that sell the relaxed sauna. People with chronic pain are like ecstatic because they have their life back. Neuropathy,
Right.
Raynaud syndrome. I can go on and on about people, but for those who are in the psychological field, some people say my heart opened, You can solve problems. It puts a cup of coffee to shame in the morning. It's not for the sick. It's for the healthy to become dynamic, to be healthier, to be more alive, to be more in the present moment. It slowly prods you into the present moment. That's where the magic in life happens. Anytime we can get into the present moment, our lives are going to be transformed.
Wow. That's wonderful. It sounds great.
Well, thank you so much for the talking to me.
Oh, thank you for coming and sharing your story with us. That's awesome.
Now,
Anyway, Philip, okay, so we have the contact information
yes,
and
they can
it'll,
email me at phil@relaxsaunas.com. Phil
okay, Phil
at
at relaxsaunas.com.
relaxsaunas.com.
Okay, wonderful. All right, well, thank you, Phil.
Thanks, Lynette. It was a pleasure, and let's be in contact. Okay.
Sounds good. Okay, great. Bye bye.
Thanks.